that we need to move on to a partial prompt next, because we go from full physical to partial, and gestural is way at the top, so this was written incorrectly. So let's say it's tomorrow. I'm going to write 7:12 on here. My next step is still step 2, but instead I'm using a partial prompt. And it should be the same for all 3. 2, partial prompt, 2, partial prompt. Okay, so now remember, for this first step, no matter what, you're still going to do a full prompt, right? The only time that you're now minimizing or using least to most is right here, because now this becomes, hopefully, a partial prompt, okay? If they get it correct, we put a plus mark at partial prompt. But say the next one, all of a sudden they're distracted by something. Obviously, they're not going to have the opportunity to do an incorrect step 1, but for step number 2, they get distracted. It was supposed to be a partial prompt, but they needed a full prompt, so I'm going to put a minus, okay? And then instead, I would probably put FP instead of PP, so that the person knew that I ended up having to give them a full prompt instead of a partial prompt. But then I did it again, full prompt. My expectation is still for them to do a partial prompt, and they were able to do it, so I'm going to write PP and then plus. Awesome. Okay. All right, so that's just an example, and this continues on. So then the idea is that you start to see this get more independent as we go along, and then slowly these become more independent up here. All right, so we're offering always as much support as we can with those beginning steps and slowly fading off backward. So those last steps going up, okay? That's why it's a backward chain. All right, so please watch the video that has to do with backward chaining so that you see a full analysis and a full breakdown of someone actually engaging in the backward chaining procedure.